Hi everyone, today we got this thing which is one of the cheapest wireless controller that you can get. I got it from AliExpress for about only $7, and as it's clear, it doesn't have a name, it just says wireless controller. Obviously it's not original, that's why it's very cheap. And here in the box you got cable for the charging, and you got converter and USB. You can use this converter with a USB to use the controller with Super Nintendo console or something like that. I don't have Super Nintendo console, that's why I don't know which type of Super Nintendo device that supports this converter. Anyway, I use this controller with my PC. When you turn on the controller for the first time, you need to insert this USB first, then press these three buttons. You do this when you turn on the controller for the first time, and after that, every time you try to turn on the controller, just press these two buttons. Just to select and start. But first, you should insert the USB into your device, then press these two buttons. If you didn't insert the USB, the controller will not turn on even if you press two buttons. From the outside, the controller looks very similar to the original Super Nintendo controller. Same color and same design. And there is another different color. You got a purple color, which looks beautiful as well. But I like this one more because it's similar to the original Super Nintendo controller. The quality is plastic and it doesn't feel very nice. The weight is very light controller and the buttons slightly tough, unlike the original Super Nintendo controller. When I play, I have to press with some more pressure. When I was using original Super Nintendo controller, you just slide your fingers above the buttons. But for this one you have to press a little bit. But over the time I have noticed that after more than 1 month of use, the buttons are not tough as it was before. With more use, it got slightly smoother. I used this controller for about a month or something like that, and I play almost every day for about 1 hour and 1 hour and a half, and I have charged the battery just one time. So from my experience, the controller doesn't consume a lot of power. The battery lasts for a very long time, and you can use this controller for old or new games without any problems. But you have to know one thing, right here on the top you get only two buttons. There is some games that requires more than two buttons above right here. For example, I tried to play Mortal Kombat X, and as you know, in this game you need a lot of buttons. In here on the top of the controller I have just two. So when I was playing I wanted to use the block and it doesn't work. When I press L and R, it doesn't work as I want, so I went to the game for customization. I tried to customize the controller in the game. So to change the block, I have to press RT on the controller, which I don't have. I don't have this button on my controller. I tried everything and I couldn't change the controller customization. I must press on the RT or LG, and I don't have these buttons, so I couldn't do anything. And the only solution I found is to change the buttons from Steam software. So I went to Steam and I changed the buttons of the controller. So from the Steam I changed the buttons. When I press L or R in the game, it looks like I'm pressing LG and RT. So that's what I did to customize the Mortal Kombat with this controller. That's why before you get this type of controllers, you have to make sure that you don't need a lot of buttons. However, if you want same design with more buttons, there is 8BitDo controllers. It comes in different colors and different design, but the price is not too cheap as this one. It cost about $30 on AliExpress, and I think this price is the same everywhere. I think it's not just on AliExpress. However, the quality of these controllers are very good and offer all the buttons that you need. So if you need good controller at the budget, 8BitDo makes a great controllers with reasonable price. And for me, I don't play a lot of games. I just play Super Nintendo games, so this one is all I need. On general, the controller is working fine and I did not have any problem. The battery lasts for a very long time. The quality is not good actually, but it's still fine. And the color and the design are very gorgeous and I really like this design and its look wonderful. So if you wanna just play some SNS games, this controller is very nice thing to have. So that was my experience with the most cheap wireless controller. Thank you for watching and that's it.